In the 11th and 12th episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Yusei has his third rematch against Trudge. This match has the central theme of denying Yusei's Junk Warrior off the bat using the anime-exclusive trap Discord counter. It denies a synchro summon and prevents them from summoning a monster until the end phase of their next turn. This forces Yusei to play on the defensive off the gates, and over the course of the match, Trudge establishes a burn strategy using the anime trap version of Terminal Countdown, a card that can deal damage over time. Another central theme of this episode is the introduction of Torapart, a monster in Trudge's arsenal, that denies Yusei's trap-heavy strategy and Yusei's Turbo Warrior, the third synchro monster in his toolbox. Thus, we have three goals in this episode. 1. To deny the first synchro summon with Discord counter and establish an early lead by Trudge. 2. Recreate the Torapart reveal in the burn strategy. And 3. Introduce our third synchro monster. Also, a disclaimer, when writing this duel, I had a little bit of misjudgment in terms of the anime dueling rules. I mentioned how Discord counter denies the summoning until the end of the opponent's next end phase, and while I abided to that rule when looking at it from the perspective of the real game, I forgot that in the anime, setting a monster in defense position is the equivalent of normal summoning them in defense position. This wouldn't be possible in the frame of the show, but I caught this mistake after the scripting process, and I wouldn't want to throw away an otherwise very well executed duel because of it. So I will be giving Discord counter an errata, in which it prevents special summoning monsters until the end phase of the opponent's next turn, fitting the same niche within both Yusei and Proto's duel against round 3 Trudge, so it'll both make sense within the context of each other. Sorry about that. Alright, we start off the duel with Proto normal summoning Shine Knight in defense position. Trudge normal summons Search Striker and uses it to attack Shine Knight, and due to its effect, Proto's monster is immediately destroyed without applying battle calculations. However, when he uses this effect, Search Striker is switched to defense position. Proto activates Double Summon and bringing out both Hanawata and Feedback Warrior. Due to the effect of Feedback Warrior, Hanawata is treated as a level 3 monster, and thus the two tune together to bring out Flamebelt or Rukizis. However, Trudge activates Discord counter, causing the synchro monster to deform back to its synchro materials and preventing Proto from special summoning monsters until the end of his next end phase. Trudge normal summons Pursuit Chaser, fun fact, I love this card, then attacks into Feedback Warrior, and since a defense position monster was destroyed, Proto takes 500 damage due to the effect of Pursuit Chaser. Keep in mind that Search Striker cannot change its battle position until the end of the turn, so Trudge is forced to pass turn here. Proto's turn comes around, and he normal summons Gusto Goldo in defense position. This is a new card. Trudge switches Search Striker back to attack position, then commences a double attack onto Proto's monsters. Pursuit Chaser's effect resolves twice, inflicting 1000 damage in total to Proto. However, Gusto Goldo has an effect in which when it is destroyed, it can summon another Gusto monster, and that is Gusto Winda in defense position. Trudge sets a card face down and ends his turn. Proto starts off his turn by activating Dark World Dealings, a card that allows him to draw a card and then discard a card, and the card that he discarded was the Fabled Cerberel. This triggers the Puppy's effect to special summon itself, and then Proto normal summons Oystermeister, then activates the spell card Gift of the Martyr to send Winda to the graveyard to increase Cerberel's attack equal to Winda's attack, which is 1000, until the end of the turn. Oystermeister attacks Pursuit Chaser, and the boosted up Cerberel attacks Search Striker, inflicting a total of 600 damage to Trudge. During the main phase 2, Proto tunes Cerberel and Meister to synchro summon the Fabled Regin, and then uses its effect to draw 2 cards, as Proto has 0 cards in his hand. Also, an Oyster counter is summoned onto Proto's field. Proto sets 2 cards face down, and then he ends his turn. Trudge activates Monster Reborn to revive Search Striker, then normal summons Torapart, tuning them both to summon Goyo Guardian. We are using Goyo's pre-errata summoning requirements in this AU, as its exact summon was conducted in the original duel, but then Goyo Guardian attacks Regin, and Trudge states that trap cards cannot be activated when it declares an attack, due to the effect of Torapart, so that leaves Proto with 2000 life points. Goyo Guardian's effect activates, special summoning Regin in defense position. However, Trudge activates Final Attack Orders, a continuous trap that forces all monsters on the field to attack position. Thus, Fabled Regin switches to the more offensive 2300 attack, and then swoops into Proto to deal the final blow. However, Proto exclaims that Torapart's lockdown only applies to Goyo's attacks, flipping off defense draw to negate the damage and draw 1 card, sparing his life. Proto normal summons XX Saberful Helm Knight, then activates his own monster reborn to revive Gusto Winda, tuning them both to synchro summon my personal favorite monster, Digusto Goldos. Goldos has the effect to shuffle 2 Gusto monsters in the graveyard back into the deck to destroy 1 face-up monster on the field. He shuffles Winda and Goldo to destroy Goyo Guardian. However, he is forced to end his turn there as he doesn't have a way to defeat Rajin due to the attack difference. Trudge normal summons Guard Dog and attacks Goldos with Rajin, but Proto activates Negate Attack to end the battle phase. Trudge says he can stall all he wants, because he's going to activate Wave Motion Cannon, putting Proto on a 2-turn clock. See, the way this card works is every standby phase, it places 1 Wave Motion counter on it, and he can send it to the graveyard to inflict 1,000 damage for each counter. So he has a 2-turn clock here, because once 2 turns expire, he can send it to the graveyard and just blow out Proto. But on Proto's turn, he normal summons Flamebell Baby and tunes it with Digusto Goldo to make Flamebell Arukizis, and attacks into Guard Dog, dealing 600 damage. Arukizis' Pride effect activates, raising its attack by 300 and putting it over the Rajin benchmark. On Trudge's turn, 1 counter is placed onto Wave Motion Cannon. Then he activates Nightmare Steel Cage, boasting that even though Arukizis has a higher attack stat, it will never get through his wall. On his next turn, Trudge will acquire the last counter needed to win the duel. Proto, with no cards in hand, takes a deep breath and draws. He looks at his hand to find Desynchro, activating it and targeting Fabled Rajin. The monster that was once on Trudge's field disintegrates and reforms back onto Proto's field into the Fabled Cerberel and Oystermeister. The 2 don't stay for long though, as Proto tunes them both again to bring back Rajin, allowing Proto to draw 2 cards. He activates the newly drawn Mystical Space Typhoon, destroying the Steel Cage, and the 2 Synchro monsters attack Trudge directly, winning the duel. And that concludes today's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Rewrite. In the next episode, we'll be going up against Leo or Rua in the Faithful source material. And here is the deck that we have at the moment, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.